ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Second place finishers at the ESL 1 Cologne Major, Liquid have been struggling to find their feet in ESL Pro League, finishing the regular season with a 15-11 record. With Pimp joining the roster, the team has had to adapt to a new team member, but having claimed victories over SK Gaming in the online season, things are looking good for Liquid heading into the playoffs.
It's an attempt for the beautiful Brazilian storyline. Immortals started this tournament oh so poorly, and now, after picking up one win on the stage, they have a chance to pick up a second. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson. This is the ESL Pro League Finals. We've migrated to the arena. It's big, and it is most definitely loud. I think there is no absence of passion for these fans as well, and the Brazilians no doubt have a slight advantage in that regard anyway. I'm joined by Janko YNK Paunovic, and for the first time on the desk, Chad Birchall. We tried this once. Let's try it again, Chad.
I don't know how much people saw or heard from me just before, so we're back.
We're back, and we're back in business. This is an intriguing affair. Now, I just need to highlight, before things go any further, there is two matches going on, and there is a good reason for that. Immortals and Liquid are going down on the stage, and of course, within the same group, we have Envy and Mouse. They're doing a battle in a best of one alongside this one. You can stay up to date with that one on an app I've been reminding you of throughout the day. All right, Janko, let's start getting into nitty-gritty, and that, I think, has to start with Liquid, because on paper and in this tournament, Liquid are no longer in it. Some would argue that they've lost the reason to try and win this one.
I wouldn't say so, because as a professional player, you always want to try and win. You always want to do your best. There's still that matter of pride, coming out of a tournament without a single win as well. And to an extent, playing without any pressure, knowing that result-wise, placing-wise, not much is going to change for you. They might feel rejuvenated in a sense, you know, just playing loosely, playing a bit more freely as well.
Actually, there's an intriguing discussion to be had about the Liquid with no pressure, Chad. We've actually seen a great deal of success come from Liquid. I mean, let's not forget, we saw them in the semi-final, close to the grand final not too long ago. We've even seen them in New York, admittedly with more pressure there. But, I mean, this is a team that we have seen find great success, and yet we're sitting here, day 3, saying that they're completely out of the running. What on earth happened?
Well, I think before, we've seen good results with them when they had Simple, and then good results when they had Peacemaker. And neither of those two things are in this Liquid lineup anymore right now. So they're struggling for leadership, I think. They're struggling to know when or how to execute strategies or plays that they have. And that's the biggest drama for this team, in my opinion, at this stage. Like Janko said, it's not that they don't have anything to lose, and that's a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, because they're playing for the future, right? IEM Oakland, they need to solve all the issues they have, because that's the next event really on their calendar for these guys, and it's one that they want to prove themselves at.
And prove themselves, perhaps some would argue they already have. As a team, though, that is a different question. The likes of JDM, it does seem, has been kind of under fire from all of us here on the desk recently. And now, what is this? What is the reason behind this when people say that we haven't seen the same JDM that we know and love when we're talking about Liquid in their current form, Chad?
I think I touched on this yesterday. We were talking about, I heard that Liquid have given JDM all the freedom he wants to pick wherever he wants, all however he wants, do whatever he's feeling. The problem with that is, that's great. It's a head-to-head, you're giving an AWPer a 50-50 battle to go and take wherever he wants on the map. But you need to have more than that. You need to have setups or flashes, smokes, things that you can do to facilitate your AWPer to, first of all, get those kills, and that gets the confidence ball rolling. Once you have an AWPer that is feeling like he can push around and go for those picks, he can do that all over the map and be a menace. But if he isn't feeling that confidence, even the freedom that you've given him, it doesn't help him get kills. You need to facilitate that. And if you want to build a team around the AWPer, then you need to work out some ways to make it work for him.
It can't just be a one-man show.
Exactly.
It has to be supported. There has to be some supportive framework in place. And there's no doubt supportive framework within Immortals, of course. That is what's going down. It's going to be the Brazilians going up against Liquid. So before we talk about them, why don't we hear from them themselves, how they're feeling?
We actually don't put any pressures in ourselves playing in front of a home crowd, because this is the coolest thing that could ever happen. It's the first time, and especially group stage hasn't started, and I think if anything, it'll just pump us up more to have our family, friends, and everyone there, because it's very hard to be away from them all the time. And when we have other events, sometimes we might take one or two, but it's hard to get everyone there. So we're used to playing in front of crowds, and I think it'll just motivate us more. There's no team I'm especially confident against. I guess the teams from the North American region, we know how they play, so it's a bit more predictable for us. But they're all playing very well lately, especially the teams that are here. So there's no one we can say that we feel extra confidence playing against. Our biggest weakness right now is always the start of the competition. We start off really slow. We're sometimes nervous. We're sometimes just not into it. We don't think clearly. Once we're able to get these jitters out, things start going well, and we just can't let it get too late. So we really need to fix more of that side, because in-game skill and tactics and the team play we do have, we just have to get the ball rolling for our side.
Zeus there from Immortals, saying that we do struggle to get things going. Well, time has passed, as have the days at ESL Pro League. We left the ESL studios and found ourselves in this arena. Slow starters perhaps, but they've made it certainly a whole lot more difficult for them coming into today. What are we thinking regarding Immortals and their form? Of course, we have already seen them play once already today, Janko, and it was a victory, but it did seem in a lot of your eyes here on the desk and in the green room that it wasn't necessarily the neatest of victories.
Definitely being helped a lot by Mousesports, kind of pushing themselves into their own demise. But even there's no doubt that Immortals have played better today than they have yesterday. And it's, you have to give them props for having the grit to, after losing both pistols, to still have what it takes to come back into the game. So yeah, they're definitely feeling it right now. The crowd is behind them. So as we said, unfortunately, it's not all up to them. They have to win this game, but still they are dependent on the result of the Mousesports NVS match.
Indeed, yeah. If Envy pick it up, that is when we see Immortals have a shot. So just do keep your eyes on that one as this one does go down. Alongside this one, I'm just noticing that the vetoes are up. Okay, so that's where we'll start the discussion now. We're being driven in the right direction by this one. And the first thing we can't help but observe, Chad, Cobble, again, statistically the best map for Immortals. They have lost all faith on this map now.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't have really the time to fix the issues that they are clearly having on this map, so just banning it, getting it out of the way, it is a positive, for their mindset. The problem is you can toy with it in the veto if you know it's not a strong map for your opponent. Liquid, they're not terrible on this map. They don't mind it, so I don't mind the ban right there from Immortals. Can see where this is going. Dust 2 is another one that's weird. Like, it's not a map that Liquid are hugely favoring lately. It's not a map they're bad on, but it's not like one of their favorites.
Right. I mean, what do you think this is? Where do you think this is going? You said you can already see where it's going, Chad. What are you identifying with that one?
Well, I think Immortals, after winning that game, probably would be happy with the Mirage. They also left Keish in that veto stage against Mouse, which is a very good map for Mouse. So one of those two maps would be preferential for Immortals.
Okay. Liquid were given, to an extent, the choice. They actually chose to remove Cash, leaving it alongside Train as their vetoes. Nuke chosen by Immortals to be eliminated, and then Mirage will be played again, Janko. So this is actually great for us here at the desk, because we can go ahead and kind of remind everyone what Immortals did well and what Immortals did poorly. Chad, I know you had some choice words for a couple of the individual plays we saw from Immortals, looking a little shaky, I believe were your words.
I think in the first 5 or 6 rounds of that T-half, they were looking a bit sloppy, making really poor decisions, whiffing shots in the back of opponents. And Zeus had one round where he was planting in the open, Connector wasn't smoked off, and there was no CTs fighting from CT spawn, so they had to be towards Connector and jungle, and he just planted the open, died, and then the round kind of fell apart from there. Right. So in the early stages, they looked like they were a bit nervy, which is understandable, and then the crowd got behind them. Every time they won a round, they were standing up, going nuts, so it's great to see, and that, I think, drove them across the line.
There is no doubt that the crowd is a 6th man for Immortals in this one, or rather a 7th, given that they do have Zach as well behind them. Janko, I know it's a bit premature, but I do want to kind of start thinking about, Liquid's win conditions here. How does this side not leave this tournament with a 0-4 scoreline?
I mean, this is the map where they looked the best in their losses. This is where they had that relatively close game against Mousesports, and that came from Mousesports having a really strong T side. It was 11-4 or 12-3 in that first half. So obviously, seeing as how the CT side is easier to play on Mirage, maybe Liquid, if they get off to a better CT sided start, they can rack up what they need on the T side as well.
Okay, and now for Chad, if I was to start kind of taking that on board and asking you to start directing yourself into a prediction. Try not to be influenced too much by the crowd. What are you thinking here? Previously, Immortals were doubted on the desk. What are you going to go for in this one?
For me, seeing that Henny and Lucas are playing well as Phelps, and then Bolts, there's 4 of them who are fragging at this point. I think Immortals are going to have more firepower going to this match. They're confident. They want to get through to the playoff stage if possible, and they have the crowd on their side. So, you can't say it's influencing me, but it's influencing them, which helps my prediction.
Certainly does.
And to add a bit to your previous question, I think Liquid needs to have a strong start. If they have a bad start, seeing as how they have nothing to play for in a sense, they might just crumble, and it might just be a blowout for Immortals. But if Liquid gets off to a strong start, feeling relaxed, having nothing to lose, then we might have a game on our hands. All these things said, I'm still going to go with Immortals, seeing as how they really look better with the home crowd behind them. They look like they're starting to find their groove. So, yeah, Immortals.
Well, better late than never for Immortals to find their groove, find their mojo, and play some sexy CS. It's Mirage again. Perhaps Immortals have ironed out the kinks that we did see initially versus Mouse Sports. A close game versus Mouse on this very map, and now back on the stage, same day, different team. It's Liquid that stands in their way from completing that Cinderella storyline and actually making the playoffs. Your casters are going to be ready for this one. After a very short break, we'll be jumping into Mirage and continuing the ESL Pro League Finals.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Well, it's time to see if Liquid can pick up a win in Brazil. Yes, they are winless, 0-3. There's no chance to move forward at this point. It's salvaging pride, and in picking up a win in Brazil, spoiling Brazilians of a chance to have Immortals go through.
In front of a Brazilian crowd.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that?
He goes, he'll
he's
be
not too
all right.
popular with those guys.
No, he's really not. He'll have to head to the airport quite quickly, and he and Thorin can watch from a safe place.
Yeah, it's difficult to really analyse this one in terms of what's the mentality of Liquid. Obviously got nothing to lose, might have been a bit looser. They've looked quite rigid so far, I would say. JDM not really coming to life at all. No one really in the team of Liquid looking very good. Nitro, one of the star players, been very quiet throughout the tournament. And we've just watched Immortals as well find their first victory. They still can go through. It comes down to the result between Mousesports and Envious, but they can still do it, right? So if they win this game and then Envious win against Mousesports, which quite likely, that could actually be a chance for them to go through.
Absolutely, and then the head-to-head, it would actually favor them in that sense. Interesting to note as well when you do consider the fact that this crowd really did bring Immortals to life. How much effect will it have on Liquid, who's normally had crowds favoring them in most of their runs? Cologne, okay, it wasn't on North American soil, but there was still a lot of Liquid fans there, a lot of NACS fans there, and obviously them being the Cinderella story, a lot of people cheering for them in general. So a very different scenario for them to be in this time around. And Hiko's going to lead in with bomb. It's going to be JDM at the front of the queue, and it's B that looks to be the approach.
Yep, 2 smokes. I normally suggest smokes towards either side of the short arches there. Take the vision away from any players, but on that side you flash over and you're trying to get the bomb down.
It's going to be another play onto the B site. I say another play, I don't mean in this game, but just in general on pistol rounds. It's a very common position to go to. Zeus the one waiting. He's got a nade in hand. If he times that well, he's going to do massive damage. Spots one. This could be perfect. Goes in. Oh, look at that. Hiko 41, Nitro 43. That's from the nade. Pimp goes down to a pistol from Bolts, and Immortals slaughtering Liquid on the way through. They aren't even going to get near the site. Down they go, and all 5 stay alive on the Brazilian side.
Kind of ironic, isn't it, when we saw Immortals against Mousesports? Very similar scenes, but Immortals on the receiving end of a 5-man deficit there. But this time it works in their favor. They actually stack quite a lot of players towards the B side there. I think 3 for the CTs. Good grenades at the start there. Liquid never really got going at all on the pistol. Didn't find a single kill, no bomb plant. That suggests a full force coming in the second round, but it doesn't come in. It's just going to be Deagles here, 4 of them to be exact, and Elijah with a good spawn. He'll be going for that pick towards the mid window. A lot of players can pull this one off. Let's see if he can. Pulls the trigger, doesn't land the shot, actually takes a little bit of damage in return. So with no grenades and no real intention at the start of the round, it'll be very difficult for them to do anything with these Deagles now, but maybe, you never know. It could boost into window, maybe try and get some position in that way.
Phelps with the smoke. Look down below. Spot one, it's Henny and Bolts that respond. Much to the delight, I'm sure, of the many fans. The other side of the walls from us. Elige, top of the mid. Deagle in hand is going to try and compensate something for Liquid. Get a kill at least, but that's not going to happen. It could be 2 straight rounds where they don't get anything. Nitro will take Henny down inside of the A site. Doesn't have bomb, he's a long way from it. And they know where he is. They're going to hunt him down. 2 HP. Okay, but that's enough. We'll get him another one. Rifle's still up in all the hands of everyone left alive, and this is all but done at this point. There we go. Bolts is going to get the headshot.
I'm trying to work out, man. Like, when I was a player myself, right, I can't remember being in this sort of instance where you're playing a game where you literally can't get anything from it, right? Whether I think myself, like, I can kind of recall some similar situations, like even in a third-place playoff game. I was thinking, like, I was a bit of a diva, right? I just wouldn't care.
I'm not surprised to hear that at all, am I?
I was just like, guys, like, I'm here to win tournaments. Like, if I can't even get out the group stages and playing a redundant game,
you sound like Max Verstappen. I'm not here to finish 4th. Then blows his engine, stops, and costs his teammate a free kick for Rosberg, yeah. I'm
just trying to think, like, in one hand, yes, I don't really, like, there's nothing to lose, might as well have some fun with it. At the same time, I don't know, I would lose that passion. I wouldn't be really invested.
Another need. Not to interrupt, I totally agree with you. It's hard to get motivated in these situations. Obviously, it's salvaging pride at this point, but that need. Massive again, and Immortals, they'll capitalize. All 5 stay alive. 2 kills only for Liquid in the first 3 rounds. They get guns to be drawn, but they don't have a lot of kill money. They have no plant money. They're going to be limited early on, even with this buy.
Well, to be fair, they didn't get armor in the second round, so it's
true.
Horribly limited, right? So they can actually get the AWP on good old JDM.
With armor.
He's got some armor as well. So that's actually the benefit of not forcing a second. We're seeing a lot of teams experiment with that kind of methodology recently. But we're going to the first real gun round here. 2 pharmacists for the CTs. If they win, it's a ton of cash then going forward. A lot on the line for the Brazilians. Let's not say this is a redundant game by any stretch of the imagination. The Brazilians are here to win. They really want this. After beating Mousesports, it's going to be Henny to open things up, taking down Elige as well. So first kill goes in their favor, and he'll be able to fall back as well. Get that towards CT spawn towards the A round.
So another early pick for Immortals. Remember what you said. And the desk said it as well. If they go 2-2, if they pick up both wins today in front of the home crowd, and you said it, Mousesports lose, there's a chance that they can still go through the groups.
So they're giving it everything they've got here after a really good performance against Mouse. With the first victory they've had in this tournament, obviously only played 2, but only picking up 4 or 5 rounds of both of those games. It looked like they were completely different. Still, big kill from Phelps. He's the star player of Immortals, but a kill comes in return. Nitro finally coming to life. He's going to find the headshot there. 4-3 still. They have got 1 smoke and flashbangs remaining, Liquid. It looks like they'll be heading towards the B side, but Zeus didn't have a great first game today, but let's see whether we can find a kill here in the initial exchange towards B.
There's the pop flash, catches one perfectly, but Pimp's there. Gets the shot in return. Hiko's going to drop in with the bomb. Nitro back from the underpass, elects not to hold off mid. He's going to try and join them a little bit later on. It'll be a 2-on-2 inside of the site until Nitro just gets to the window, but it's up to Lucas to be quick on the heels of them through the apartments, and Hiko trading with bolts. It's now 2 versus 2 in total, as Henny and his brother again, they've got to work together, both coming from opposite approaches, and Lucas, he's going to have Nitro drop away from the position in front of him, back down inside of the site. The Molotov toward Van should give away that he's coming from the apartment's position, and Hiko's going to start to watch that. Nitro hits the shot instead, and now it's on to Henny. A WP in the site. First shot found, but still has to get toward the bomb. He's got a kit. He's baited out the shots, knows where he is, and what a shot from Henny. He's got it. He's done it.
Ooh, just to make sure, yes he has. Nice work from Henny there. 3 kills in total on the clutch of the USP. You could see how he's dancing around, trying to trick the terrorists towards the end there with the footstep to go one way, then he went the other. Very smart play from him. I have to say, Zeus did a good job at almost throwing that away his position. Considering the situation, the time's running out, not much left of the terrorists there. He goes all in with a flashbang. I would have preferred him just to drop back, play behind the bench, delay them as much as he can, do some damage, stay alive. Went almost lost the round at that point, but his team managed to claw it back. Well, Henny, I should say, claws it back. Going to the next round. A bomb plant for Liquid at 4th stage. Lost minus means they do get money available to buy 4 AKs and a Galil. That's down to JDM, not known for his rifle prowess. We'll see what he can do. All 5 players towards A. You would assume it would be a smoke execute here. They'll be locked out of sight for now, but that's not going to stop them. This is a big round. They will be eager after this to see if they can find anything for it. Apparently not. Lucas gets the first kill. Nitro drops, and his teammates will be following him in after.
Pimps in towards Sandwich already. And he's hoping to use a sliver, a slight little gap when they cross toward the site. Not really much information there to gather. I'm going to flash out. He's got to redress that position. Fall back slightly. It doesn't matter. It's Bolts, and oh, there we go. Henny getting a lead. I didn't expect him to go up over the top, but I was going to say get all the kills required. It's lovely stuff so far from Immortals.
Absolutely, and pretty disappointing from Liquid, I have to say. It's been pretty much this throughout this tournament. They've been actually not really done very well whatsoever. They got smashed 16-2 by Optic to open things up. A more convincing game against Mousesports after losing the first half 13-2. They brought it back a little bit, you know, like maybe they close the scoreline, but not really much to write home about. And now against Immortals, it's getting pretty ropey as well. Another partial buy here, some Tech 9s, Deagles. A couple of smokes towards the A side. Objective here, probably not to win the round, although it's possible, just to get the bomb down and see what happens.
Edge of the smoke for Lucas to try and peek beyond. They've got to make a little bit of a gap. They've gone for isolation smokes without CT, and that gives him vision, but he's only now just found his first, a second as well as he snaps back. It's Elige to drop in the site, pushing forward. He can wrap behind them. Bomb's going to go down regardless, and Phelps will follow it with 2.
Well.
She's happy.
Tactical pause.
I think he's... Oh, my God.
Oh, don't do it.
See you later. We need Moses in here. He's better at this than I am.
He can handle the dabs. Yeah, Matt's gone. He's actually left. So I'll be solo casting it to the rest of the rounds, I guess. We'll see what happens. And here we go then. It will be a tactical pause. So Liquid, like we said, not really much for them to gain from this actual situation, apart from a bit of pride. And so far, that's actually going down the toilet as well. They're getting knifed. They're getting shut down. No real close round so far. The atmosphere doesn't look fantastic.
Honestly, when they do that, it looks like they're having a seizure.
Right.
That's all it looks like.
Still talking about the dabs?
Yes.
Right. Anyway.
Carry on. I'm sorry. They made me sit back down and told me I wouldn't get paid.
How much do you get paid?
I don't know.
You just turn them to a pen and hope they give you a reasonable amount.
Yeah. That's basically what I do.
Well, Liquid, like we said, just it's such a difficult procedure for them. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I don't want to kind of ruin it for everyone, you know. I don't want to make it seem like they're not going to try. They can see that. There it is. That's a bit of passion from Hiko. Well, I like it.
The thing is this is, like I said, it's a matter of pride. Liquid's had deep runs, and they've come into this tournament and crashed hard without Peacemaker. Obviously, they did have a run with Peacemaker without Simple. They had Pimp playing at ESL 1 New York, but if they come out this dry from an event, this is going to be hard for them to live down. This is a big organization we're talking about.
Got Oakland coming up next, right? So they want to show and probably experiment with official games to see what the problems are and whether they can address them right now. There is a buy available for Liquid. 6-state loss bonus. 6 states? There's only 5 now. And they'll be able to get guns here. So JDM's back on the NWP. Has he had any impact so far? He's only got 1 kill. I think that was with a pistol. So, oh no, he didn't get a pistol kill. Maybe he got a takedown kill or something. Who knows? Molotovs all over the place, getting flushed out towards mid. Liquid are trying to get control of that area towards mid boxes. And here we go then. A nice shot from JDM finds Henny.
Yeah, Phelps will be back in the window, same position, but finally an early pick for Team Liquid. EWP down in the window, attempting perhaps to repossess into this round, grab it and pull it back over, but Elige is going to get to connector as a result of a good smoke there. Allows him, and there I mean window, allows him to get in position and wait for his teammates to go back toward A main. He goes in Palace. It's Lucas that'll get a little further forward in the site. In fact, play a close corner firebox and allow them to commit to Tetris and then try and catch them.
Well then, they still have their smokes available. Well, to be fair, only 2. But that's enough to do something. Phelps doing a good job of getting information. You can see his teammates now. Look at the mini-map right now. You see 4 and 3. That's going to be Zeus and Bolts coming towards the A side. But at least he's in connector. But at least the CDs have some firepower towards the side of the map.
Lucas will fall into a position to watch Palace instead. He doesn't have a teammate doing so from connector, so he's got to be a little more careful of the drop down. Forget about Tetris. That'll be covered from CT. Or will it? There's smokes out, and Bolts is desperate to try and spam in and find them. They're deep in the site already. Bomb plant's coming in. Lucas needs to go soon. It's going to be now that he does. Spotted from Sandwich, still finds the kill. Phelps with 2. And Hiko, the last alive, is going to go down to Bolts. I take that back. Elise still waiting to come out from connector. Bolts finds him as well. Same answer, same result. 7-0 Immortals.
Didn't farm either. So, Liquid, it's looking poor. Even when they get the man advantage there, they're not capitalizing. They're waiting for so long, though. They've got no vision of the map whatsoever. They've got no Pretington underpass, nothing in middle. They've got a player waiting to connect at that point. What's taking them so long to execute? You've lost the map. The CTs are hunting for information, finding it, and you guys are sat there waiting for like 30 seconds before you do anything. The CTs have already adjusted. They're back towards it. They've already got their information, so that's really disappointing for making the see them operate in that manner. Going to be buying up in this round as well. Round number 8, 7-0. Things don't seem to be getting better at this point. Aggressive play from the CTs towards short. Doing a little bit of damage, actually quite a lot towards JDM, and the first kill comes in. Bolts finds a headshot on the Liege.
Gets the gun back just in time. That draw time of the M4 often can be misleading and frustrating, but manages to get the headshot into Elise, down to 25 as a result. But first kill, and now Phelps getting aggressive top of middle.
Well, look, they haven't got the man advantage this time. Towards B they go, and we have got a backstab. That's going to be Phelps this time. Coming in towards T-spawn. He might go towards the actual full flank and see what's going on, or commit to, if he goes towards B apartments, this round's over, and he's done it as well. This is I would say this round's over, just because of his position. They're going to clean kill on Zeus, who's been poor on the B side so far. Maybe there's a chance, who knows.
He's got support though, he's got Bolts back on Cat, and he's playing a very different angle, lining them up. 1 kill already. Nitro, he go back in. Bolts goes down, they found Zeus as well. But Phelps calling in the back line means the flank is gone. However, it doesn't matter. The rotations come over. It's Nitro 1 versus 3. He's found the first kill already, but he's got 4 HP to work with. A newborn's got more than that, and he's got less chance because bomb down inside of the site. The twin brothers are watching it very closely. In fact, they'll just find him with a shot, a very quick shot from Lucas.
Bolts was tremendous against Mousesports there, and he gets 4 kills towards that B side, so not a bad round. Another pause coming in. Why not from Liquid? You get super half. We've already kind of explained all that. We won't do it again. But yeah, new Valve rule set, super half. But let's see what they can do. I'll have a look at the money quickly. 3,400 is what they're getting each round. That's pretty much what they've got. Nigel's got enough for AK and head armor. Oh, this is looking bad, man. This is looking real bad. They might want to take an eco here. Allow it to go to 9-0. Get a full buy again. No one's got a lead. He's like one of the star players, one of the absolute best in their team, 0 and 8. And to be fair, Nitro, this is one of the better games he's had. He's actually finding space and openings. His accuracy seems to be there. They just seem like they're just so checked out of this tournament. This is not a Liquid we're used to seeing. They're normally ruthless. They're like hitting everything fast, confident in their plays. Right now, they're stifled. They'll find one pick and then they freeze up. No one's. He goes a new game leader. It looks like, I think that it's not so much Simple that's missing. I think Peacemaker is seems to be something that held them together completely. Now they haven't got him. It's not so much they're missing one player to carry them, right? They were always very good as a team, and now we haven't got that structure. It seems like they're not really sure to do mid-round. After they get a pick, they freeze up, and it's just not good enough at the moment. It was Nitro calling for a while. Now it is Hiko, I believe. Maybe they changed him for today. I have no idea. We can only really speculate that. But it is, at the beginning of this tournament, it was Hiko. Looking pretty poor, I have to say. And he's trying to find the shot toward Cat. He's gone very far back in a wide angle, but look at the teammates' plays. One out from underpass, one out from connector. Bolts and Phelps finding kills. Elige gets toward the window, busts out the vent, but he's low. And Hiko and he could sit in the room, perhaps talk about things, sit in a little group, discuss their feelings. And get kills. And, well, that's a way to start it, but they're both low on HP, and one's gone. It's Elige the first. Hiko the second. Phelps and Bolts again. Those two seem to be named quite frequently in rounds. They combined for all 5 that time, and it's 9-0 for Immortals. Yeah, it is. But they did take an EQ there, so they get the full buy once again. Not really much to talk about on the Liquid side. Doing default at the start, had a few executions as well. Haven't found any rounds really when it comes super close. I think the 2 versus 1 versus Henny is about as close as it's got, but since then it's been pretty lackluster. Round number 10, double digits available for Immortals, just one singular one for Liquid. As we go into this one, any aggressive play from the CTs? Not so much, but we have got Phelps he's towards short. 3 players on the A-bombs over the CTs and another default for Liquid. This is absolutely fine. They can do this. It's going to be slowing things down, trying to find a pick here. JDM has got the orb. Like I said, Zeus against Mousewards as well. He looks pretty shaky in the B side. Pimp's not adding to the frag total here, but Henny, he's still alive and hitting shots as well.
Decent shot on JDM. The op they said they were going to give the freedom to. Pimp's going to pick that weapon up this round as well to try and make something of it. And he gets toward the top of mid. Good timing if he goes toward the apartments again. Same situation we said for Phelps, but it's going to be Bolts to hold them off.
And Bolts is in some sick form right now. He could actually ruin the dream.
He's going to be alone. Henny's elected to go toward A. He's just realized now he gets back to the apartments, but he's a little bit late. Good shot. Bolts on the first one in. Drops in. Hiko falls as well. At least the third will finally be the charm to put him down. But that's still not good enough. It's down to the 2 versus 2. They desperately needed the man advantage, more so with Henny already on the flank on the AWP. And a shot directly in front of him. Hello, honey, it's Henny. Pimp's gone, and Lucas is going to walk up catwalk once more. Elige in the sight's going to try and hold this off. 1 versus 2. He's open, he's exposed, and he's gone as well.
The man advantage once again. I think that was the 4-on-3. They go towards the B side, they run into Bolts, and I said he's in great form right now. He finds his 20th frag after 10 rounds. The reposition after the Molotov comes in, just 2 great kills on your screen right now as well. That's enough to win the round. Henny on the hard flank from apartments. That is everywhere right now. Pimp's not even considering that to be an option for the CTs at that point. He gets taken down in the back. Elige, he finds his first frag of the game, 1 for 10, but can't find any more. He needed to find 3 in that round to clutch it out. 10-0. No bomb planted. Again, it's only gone down once so far for Liquid, and that was in that 2 versus 1. So, 5 weapons out once again at this point. Pretty much have to buy every single round, but this is going from a bad tournament to quite an embarrassing one for Liquid.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's too hot in Brazil for Liquid. It does rain quite hard for about a half an hour each day, but I think that's just Liquid's tears at this point.
All right.
Bolts is going to try and re-peek out toward mid. 2 players inside the smoke. You can't see them. Does spot the one down below. That's JDM. That's going to drop the bomb as well in the open. Gives Phelps the chance to catch them off. Nitro falls. Forget this. What are we talking about here, Henry? I thought it was Counter-Strike. All right, maybe Liquid and Elige want to show us that there is something to perhaps discuss. He's got 3 now.
Here we go.
Down to a 2 versus 2. He's pulled this back. They've got bomb, and they've got a little bit of time. 52 seconds to work with.
Well, here we go then. Well, another winnable situation. Elige finally coming to life here. Pimp joining in as well, but they're up against Lucas. They're going to run towards B. Oh, God, no, not like this.
That's perfect, considering how far removed he is from the situation. To hit that shot, it forces Pimp to go in toward the ladder room and put a smoke out just to not face that. And instead of going for the plant, he is a little bit, but is he? Because he's waiting. He misses the opportunity to plant, but he's waiting in a potential position where he's not going to be expected. But Lucas is being smart about this. He's not pushed through. He's expecting Pimp to come back this direction, and Pimp's now suddenly starting to think he's going the other direction. Which way is Lucas going to look? He's in the corner. He's to the left. Pimp might check and sees him. Oh, what a shot as he snaps it back. I have to give credit where credit is due. That was quite nice.
Well, to be fair, Pimp does a great job there to finish it off, but when you know exactly where he is, he's killed your teammate from the connector, right? You've got so much time to plan in B. You're still at a massive advantage in terms of you can position yourself anywhere you want. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the play he decided to go with, but like you said, he wins the round. That's fine. He actually made a lot of footsteps there. I thought it was game over at that point, but you can see, even after winning the round, Matt, they only have 2 weapons. It came down to another 1v1. This is a hard reset round. They need to go for an execute by the looks of things. All 5 players going into this area. Lose this. Potential double eco coming in as well. We'll see what happens. Flash go through. Lucas ready in shadow. Molotov dropped as well.
Lucas hits Pimp very easily through the gap. He's going to stay on top of the cinders. Not a lot of movement mechanics from that position, but he's got a teammate to line them up and take them down. Bolts gets 2, and Lige is able to find the 3rd, but he's fully blind. Fully dead.
Oh no.
Just 11-1.
Was coming to life. No bomb down, no loss bonus, no guns in the previous. So, it has to be an eco. They might force into it. They might just throw caution to the wind at this point and say, you know what guys, this is so bad, we might just have to force it to the tech lines. Oh, they did such a good job as well. Pimp did everything he could to bring something. He brings them around, but they lose the next one. Problem is it came down to a 1v1, and then they lose that loss bonus, and they get that $3,250 into the next round, so they get 2 AKs, Tech 9s, and go for the full A execute. Just still there's nothing to work with. Now it's another eco. 12-1. It's looking very likely. What is it?
Trade back and forth. Hiko's got the advantage. gives them the power play on the way through to the B site. Pimp 25 HP, but doesn't matter at the man. Handy, what a shot as he catches Pimp jumping by. Hardly see the little rabbit bunny by go, and it's got a shot to take him down. JDM tries to spot back up. Fire to his left, shot to his right. Bolts takes his head off, and Henny's got Nitro as well. It's down to Heat. Go bomb might be planted, but it's diffused. And Immortals get 12.
They do indeed. Well, good news is Liquid do get the bomb down, so they will be able to buy into the next round at least. Won't have to be a double eco here. So then we'll have a look at the Liquid buy. All out for JDM. He's had his critics recently. He's had a very quiet game. Another pause. Tactical. This is their third for sure.
That is 3 on 1 half.
Yeah,
you have to wait until after half.
That's definitely their third. I've been counting it this time.
Yeah, that's not on.
But at this point, you'd probably think, yeah, just let it. It's fine. Yeah. It's like, you know what?
As far as
it's definitely their third.
We had a ready, half, pause, tack again, unpause, tack. Yeah. So that is the fact that they said tack again. That's their second. This is their third and a half. So they've impeached upon a rule here, but they are down 12-1.
What can you do against these? They disqualify from the tournament. They're already out. So
yeah,
you know true. What? So yeah, I guess you just let this one slip by. It happened in New York as well. I think was it in New York? When was the first time we had this tournament?
It was New York. The first time we had this format. Yeah.
I can't remember. We had some sort of dispute like this as well.
There was
it Astralis and.
I think the dispute you're thinking of
was
Star Ladder.
That's right.
When there was 2 timeouts called by Na'Vi in a game, so the next day Astralis called 2
and they said,
against them to say, you know what, you did it to a team, we're going to do it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Kerrigan's very spiteful with his timeouts like that. Let's not forget about MLG, the tactical timeout against Fnatic.
Fnatic at what? When they had 1 round away from winning?
Yeah, they said it was going to be an easy game, so I called a 2-minute timeout to let them think about it. right before they knocked them out of the tournament.
That was kind of sick. Well, here we go then. Money available, guns out. JDM's got the orb, but that hasn't really been a pivotal factor. This one has been though, and he can't pull the trigger correctly. It's Henny with a chance to find the first frag there, but at least just take him down. So his defensive play from Liquid works out. They get the first kill here. 5-4 though, but they've thrown his leads away before. Let's see what they can do. Looking to get 12-3 overall. That's a winnable half. It's certainly not impossible. But the way they're playing right now, I would say maybe it is. Who knows? We'll get to the sides. I've got 5 smokes available, make it 4 actually. As they go towards this area, they've got a player towards top and middle as well. That's Alish who's found that first frag. He'll probably be holding that area, stopping the rotation towards Connector, while his teammates execute onto the side with Pimp coming out of Palace.
Lucas Flash is going over and playing from the sandwich all around him. He's trying to find the shot toward Palace. If he's patient, there'll be one walk in front of him, but the shot comes through and Hiko's going to win the duel. Thankfully, Bolts finds a leash before that, but Bolts now has smoke heavily deployed in front of him, and they're going to go for the plant inside of that smoke. Can't find it, lines it up, that's very close. And he gets it in the end. Nitro will go down, but he does not deny the plant.
That would have been bigger had he have done that. So now he's waiting for his teammates in. They've got no nades here, the CTs, but they're going to be going in aggressively. Looking for the next frag. Terrorists haven't really been lighting up the scoreboard with their individual prowess so far. Let's see what Hika can do. Whiffing the spray. He gets taken down by Phelps. JDM with the orb now. Can he come up clutch as Pimp's trying to do what he can? Here we go. 2 versus 1, and they managed to do it as well. Second round obtained by Liquid. Just
so 12-2 now. They pull 1 back. Going to round 15. Thankfully, they win that. They can buy again to close out the half.
So, like I said, 12-3, doable. 13-2, not so much. It's actually kind of strange to think how much those scorelines differ in terms of the mentality goes in the next half. Anyway, JDM. Ooh, opportunity to get that first shot. Timing, if you get the best spawn, you can catch some CDs crossing, but doesn't get there quite in time this time. That sentence doesn't really sound very good, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I feel you, bro. So he's just trying to get a little clever on the cabinet to see above the smoke. Do you know what's in those cabinets?
Books.
That's correct.
27 kills of Bolts in the first half. That's like godlike stats. Zeus, on the other hand, 3 for 7. That's not. He seems to get game picked pretty much every single time they go to B.
He's certainly struggling. It seems to be. I mean, Immortals today are playing great, but it seems to be something we've highlighted throughout the course of their tournament.
He's brought in to be the tactical kind of structure, the foundations for the team as well, but in terms of the firepower I've seen from him in this tournament, I'm not sure that's going to be sustainable going forward. But
to be fair, we're on round 15, and no one on Liquid has more than 7 kills.
Yeah.
It's 1 kill every 2 rounds on average for everyone on Liquid. That's not on.
That's true.
In fact, it's less than that. It's 1 kill every 3 round for JDM. It's 2 kills every 3 rounds for all the others. Bolt's inside the site, looking to drop the first half 30. He needs 3 in this round to do it. There's 1 in it, that's all it's going to be. So 28 still very impressive, don't get me wrong. Lucas and Henny now will find the rest, and I mean all of the rest, as Lucas picks up 2, finally goes down. JDM, close shot, does manage to land it. Very low HP for everybody left. 11, 19, and 9. 9 is going to be under threat with the Molotov behind. JDM aggressive, hits the first shot, sees the shadow, tries to hit the second, and Henny capitalizes as he wraps around 13-2 for the Brazilians.
Impressive last round from JDM. Doesn't manage to bring home the bacon, unfortunately, though. It's going to be 13-2. A pretty terrifying scoreline, and to be fair, it kind of bookends what's happened to Liquid throughout this tournament. They've been pretty shocking throughout, looking like they're a bit lost, rigid, and uninspired overall. It's going to be 13-2. Maybe they can bring it back. I would speculate no. Immortals, another great performance from Mirage. Let's see what happens after the break, whether Liquid can pick up a pistol, perhaps. Oh. It's been all Brazilians when they've been on the stage today. Immortals have definitely stepped it up, turned it around. Say what you like from how we started this tournament. They were down 0-2, and they and Liquid seem to be the 2 teams in the bottom of the barrel, but now they've stepped up, and Liquid's looking even worse, I have to say. Yeah, both of these teams so far in the tournament have been the whipping boys. Until today, it was Immortals stepping up and taking out Esports in a very exciting close game. It came down to the very last rounds, and maybe a little bit of a blunder from Christian in the apartments that allowed them to win it without having to go to overtime. But now here we are then, even looking even better, Immortals. 13-2 in the first half. They move over to the terrorist side here. Liquid out of the tournament, just to reiterate that. Anyone thinks they can maybe pull this back and win it, even if they do, it doesn't really mean too much. They just actually remove Immortals' chances of going forward. That's all they would do. That's at this point, they want to show they can still play CS. It's been really rough for them this tournament, probably one of the worst showings this lineup's ever had. Let's get back into it then, shall we? Forces to bomb for the CTs, 1 smoke, he goes on the utility with the defuse kit. JDM pushing off towards short. We have got a couple of flashes to the terrorists. They make the way towards connector. JDM needs to step up here. Can't connect the shots just yet, though. JDM's going to try and climb ladder to get back toward the window and transfer himself into a position where he can catch them up before they get to connector, but that's not going to happen. JDM does get one in the end when he goes back to ladder instead. It's Zeus he finds. Phelps is going to try and double flank this, though. This is almost one and done. He gets back to window, finds Hiko, and now is in a position to cut them off from top of connector. JDM is going to be the one that has to fight with both he and Bolts, and if they get that kill without losing one, they'll be in a 3 versus 2 in the post plant, if they can get the plant. Henny's low. It's the one saving grace right now for both the Legion Pimp toward the CT stairs. The thing is with the CTs, they're both in that position as well. They're not sure where the bomb is. Okay, it doesn't matter anymore. Bolts, 6 shot towards CT spawn, and now it's just Pimp. 3 versus 1, a chance to get 2 though. Gets it. He needs his last kill against Phelps. He's got 19 HP and the bomb in hand as well. Looking for that plant, but so much time to play with here. This is where the games begin again. Was this the same matchup we had before? Phelps versus Pimp? I think it was Lucas, but either way, Pimp has gone back. You called it right. He gets 2 excellent shots. Now he's got HP advantage and he nails it. Phelps goes down and Pimp
finally showing us something, and very importantly as well, because that's a pistol round pulled back. It could have been game done if not for that.
Well, we've got a few more twists and turns here, it seems. With the bomb not going down, I would almost suggest it's going to be a certainty that Immortals force into this round. They're going to be getting Tech 9's here, Deagles, a couple of smokes. Henny, of course, the Orbital won't be doing the same thing, but quite an SMG heavy buy from Liquid here. They're going to have 2 UMPs and MP9, and there it is, a scout as well. JDM takes off the head of Lucas and gets a second as well. Something comes to life here. Maybe it's too little too late. You be the judge, but he's finally killed regardless in this round. He's tagged Henny as well.
Smoke out, top of the stairs, dropping back in though. Phelps will take down Pimp. 1 kill at least to force up a bit of reinvestment, but it's Phelps and Henny on very little HP left to try and contest the round. Then JDM, an excellent play on the scout, as you mentioned, the headshot on one, body shot on the other, damage in. And he's got a smoke in front with the bomb in his hands. Walk, okay, directly into Elige, finds the kill as well. Headshot from the Deagle. Backs away as well. Phelps is going over toward B Apartments. He's already facing toward Hiko, so they'll bring the bomb in that direction. They can try and isolate him, but Hiko here's one shot. Now will they call for the rotation? JDM, he's coming back down out toward Connector. And with them both low on HP, it should be fairly straightforward. Finds one, finds two, done. Money for JDM. Bomb never gets planted for Immortals.
Okay then. Hiko coming in. Still a chance, still a bit of hope here. Very small amount, but it's there. 2-0 here for Liquid. Not going to be firing up just yet. Pimp on his screen that. He was the hero of the pistol round, managing to win the 1v1 of 3 kills in total. Like I said, full eco at this point for Immortals. I've seen them do a lot of set pieces in that Mouse Sports game. Maybe just do one smoke on the site, just try and run into it with the flashbang as well. See if they can get that down, but Nitro will be dying the first kill. He gets it on towards bots.
Nitro gets 2 as well. JDM's going to chime in with yet another on the P250, so his bank account starting to swell. That'll pull back Zeus, and then it's just one to find Phelps. He'll go down. It's Pimp. So silence in the auditorium while we wait for the guns to be drawn, but they will be up this round for Immortals.
So what's the call from Liquid here? I was going to say, right, we need to drop some of those SMGs. They don't really have the room to wiggle over here, really, with the bonus round. That's not really going to be a thing. I think you have to drop all those SMGs. They've made the correct decision. Yes, they have. Okay, just what I mean by that, when you have a more equal score line, the bonus round is like, okay, if we win this, we've got a massive advantage. We can still buy the next one. Right now, Liquid just need rounds on the board. Don't take that risk. Let's get the rifles out with the AWP as well. And this will be JDM pushing off towards short, hunting for the first frag, or back up from the window as well, looking to see if anyone crosses that smoke. He's got quite a large gap there, but no one giving him anything to work with just yet.
JDM missing a shot toward top. It's going to fall back. That'll give up a little bit of room for Immortals to capitalize upon in middle, including the fact that Phelps is trying to get out from the underpass. And Elige backing away. They've given up mid already. So now execution potential does exist. There isn't a lot of utility to try and do so with, though, on the Immortals side. There's one smoke, 3 flashes, and a decoy. And no, I'm not talking about Skadoodle Thorin. Because I don't think that way. I don't feel that way about his presence in the map.
Right, from one meme to another. We'll go into Liquid trying to stay alive here in the ESL Pro League. Not even to stay alive, they're already dead, but trying to go down swinging at least. As we go into the 40-second mark, it's going to be Immortals with 3 flashbangs. Looking like they'll be finishing up towards A. Bomb's going to be making its way in as well. We have got bolts. So 6 so far coming out of the palace. Looking for the first frag. Gets it as well. Lucas helps him out. This kill is going to be important. Pimp manages to stay alive towards Shadow and find another kill as well. 2-on-2 with 25 seconds remaining.
25 seconds remaining and JDM far away from the site, but they don't know where he is. Lucas is searching for him and Henny's hesitant to cross. He's going to be in a perfect position for the flank. He's got an AWP though, but he's got to hit shots. Around the corner, slow walking. Henny just had a sight. Flash back in and JDM, one easy shot for him because he's not even moving. Bomb goes down and Lucas is going to try and get a position where he grabs the bomb. 5 seconds, he's not planted. He's not on it. Round over. They don't even have to face it's done. It's going to be 6 rounds for Team Liquid.
Keeping the dream alive, it's Team Liquid. Pimp from the shadow position as well. It looked like a round Immortals may have run away with the initial exchanges, but Pimp in that shadow position finds 2, stays alive as well, and JDM coming in from a nice flank with that AWP. So not going to be closing this one out just yet, it seems. Liquid still need 9 rounds to get to number 15. It's not got to the point of no return just yet, right? Because Immortals, until they get match point themselves, the pressure isn't as plied as heavily as you may think. We're going to see what happens here. We go 3 Tech 9s, an AK for Lucas, and he's still on the full eco.
That is so close.
Have a look how close it was.
On the X-ray. Must have been just to the right.
It was to the right. Hit the wall instead of where they were.
Well, the nade goes in. Oh, big damage. That actually hit more than I expected. They're going to drop down. They can drop down on the left and right. It's a little bit overwhelming for Hiko to find more than one, but JDM and Pimp can do a little better. Lucas will pull them back, and Bolts to try and grab the bomb planted inside of the smoke. He'll hold this, put it down, get the money in at the very least. As Immortals desperately need to get some rounds here. I don't say desperate, they've got a little bit of time, but they want to get this rolling. They don't want to lose the momentum, and the crowd again is starting to get silent. So there it is. The pause is going to come in from them immediately after this round. This Liquid will now pick up number 7.
They do indeed. So that round was just an AK and some Tech 9s. Try and get the bomb down towards B. They got a couple of kills as well. Bomb planted. So they're a maximum loss bonus as of this round, so they can actually get AWPs out on Henny, presumably, and the AK is all utility required. So we'll see what happens here as we go into round 21. And Liquid, okay, so the problem is they haven't really got that much room to work with in terms of if you go for an aggressive round, try and experiment and see what works for them. If you have a bit more of a bed, you can actually justify those ones. Maybe, though, at this point, you're playing to win, right? You're going to have to throw caution to the win and see what happens. If you can get it there aggressive, you have to have some confidence in yourself. They haven't had that throughout this tournament. So I'd like to see maybe some of that brought into the fray, but JDM, he's actually starting to find some good numbers. He's on 16 frags, 15 deaths. The only one who's positive in his team right now. Yep. Hiko, I have to say, 7 for 17. This is probably the worst tournament I think I've ever seen him play at.
Yeah, this is
and he's
by far the worst tournament I've ever seen Hiko play.
First tournament he's been calling. Maybe I'm a little wrong there, but
I think it's the first tournament, but it's the first in a while.
Yeah. Well, since they changed it from Nitro, right? Is what I meant.
JDM back away, and he missed a quick shot towards the gap in the smoke at the top of A main that could have been very, very beneficial for Immortals. Meanwhile, though, Bolts Palace gets peeked. Oh, wrong timing for Immortals. As Bolts gets caught with an 8 getting drawn, it's Nitro with the kill. Elige follows up. JDM chimes in. Liquid's starting to look better on this CT side. I imagine it's hard to look worse, to be fair, but they're getting rounds, and it could be 13-8 very quickly. Phelps and Henny, the last 2 alive, separated tremendously across the map, and the bomb, far as each of them from each other, is away from them. So it's down to the A site. Elige will get Phelps as well. It's down to just Henny.
Just Henny indeed. He's a T-spawn. Another A execution thwarted there. Immortals can't get going here on the T side. They're actually going to be 6-0 down. It's getting interesting now. This game could be competitive at least. If we get a couple more in Liquid's favour, maybe get to double digits, that's when it starts to get interesting. And it's going to be Henny trying to save the AWP at this point, but 40 seconds, he'll do well. The CT's not really hunting right now. They still have a player towards B, that's Pimp. He's holding that tight angle with the AWP, so Henny would do well to actually do anything about that, all things considered. Will he be trying to save, or I guess he will be at this point, considering where the bomb is. I didn't see that. Yeah, he'll just be trying to save this weapon.
Pimp's waiting for him in this position, though. They're getting in behind him. Pimp's going to get it. AWP successful. Counter-terrorists win. Immortals still stuck on that 13th round. Yeah, bad luck, 13.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
The Black Cat.
That's why you're the best.
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
I put words in my own mouth.
It's true. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment then.
Oh, I was about to say a false buy. It's not a false buy.
I'm better because of you.
Yes. Yeah.
Together we are better. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right, I'll stop.
Okay, anyway, Bolts gets an AK. He had a bit more residual cash than his teammates. Towards A they go once again. A little bit of presence towards middle from Phelps, but it's going to run out. Just go blind, see what happens. Nitro sprays them down. I'm not going to get too excited here. It's a round they didn't really invest into, but Bolts with the AK just waiting behind the fire there. Pretty removed now. The bomb's down on the sides. It's a bit of a poor spray, and Elige will punish him for it. Phelps, the last player alive. He gets Nitro, but there it is. 13-9, almost to double figures. That's when I'm going to get a bit more hype when double figures come in. I'm not going to do it too much.
It's worrying for Immortals.
This means, but the problem is, though, there's so much on the line for them. They can still make it out of the groups. Team Liquid.
Exactly. That's why it worries me.
Yeah, right? And it's just like they've done such a good game right now. If they were to lose it at this point, they would be so gutted. That's like a punch to the gut at that point.
You know, they brought Zeus to be the tactical leader, but we've seen struggles on their T side throughout the course of the weekend. We know Liquid's lacking in leadership right now. It's starting to show because neither of these teams seem to have a good tactical discipline or approach to the map and getting the bomb down and securing rounds on the T side.
Well, here we go then. Looks like a little A fake coming in. The smokes have been deployed towards the A site, and the bomb, as you can see, towards a B apartment state. But there is a fly in the ointment, and this time as JDM gets the first kill there towards Henny, falls back as well, spots them all, so he can call for the rotations.
Pimp's got the second shot on the AWP, better than the first. Hiko's there as well. In the sight, caught off. Zeus snapped back by Hiko, and it's going to go to 13-10. Liquid are definitely pulling this back. Another tactical pause, the second of which from Immortals used in this half, has been called by Zeus. It's Phelps against 5, called around done.
Indeed. Yeah, they can't get going here at all, can they? In terms of their approach, it's passive defaults into either contact play on the bomb sites or executions, none of which are working. Maybe try something a bit faster here. We saw some ruthless play on the T side in the first game, especially from Mousesports as well, like just grouping up 4 players fast towards middle, a couple of smokes towards connector and window, trying to split towards B or running through that connector itself. Haven't seen much of that going on. It's been a lot of slow, calculated play from Immortals. That's what we said watching them at the early stages of this tournament. They used to be quite dynamic and have quite a lot of flair to them. They were quite loose in terms of their play style, and that's when they won DreamHack Open. With Showtime, that was before Zeus joined the team, and then decided to remove him. I don't think anyone would argue with saying Showtime has more firepower than Zeus, but the fact is Zeus was brought in to bring more structure into the team. Obviously, he has a lot of experience. He was a coach for SK before, and they were looking to become a world-class team. They were very good, right? But they knew they would never be the best without a really good in-game leader. That was the problem. And right now, the T-side's certainly a problem for them throughout this tournament. So this one's no different. They're actually going to be 8-0 down now. And this is getting a bit scary at this point. 13-10. Double digits arrive, and now it's time to get into 5th gear. Can Liquid possibly do this?
Immortals.
No money as well. Well, there is enough. Okay, Phelps got an AK, and there's 2 players on about 5k. So, tactical pause. Let's compose ourselves, boys. We've thrown away this massive lead now. What do we do? You can see them discussing it right now. Boltz, who is the former leader as well before Zeus came in.
He's the leader in terms of frags right now.
That's true as well. He's had a great tournament. Well, no, he hasn't had a great tournament. He's had a great day. Let's not go too nuts. He's had a great day here. He finished plus 30 before, and in round number 24 here, he's got 32 kills. So definitely not a great tournament. Zeus 4 for 15. He's definitely struggling a little bit there, but still. It's not all about the frags, Matt. If you can call the right strategy now to bring them the game, that's enough. The only score that really matters, the only stat, is the one at the top. If that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what will.
That's a tough call.
Okay then, I'm going to do, how much money's left over? 3k, 2500 on Henny and Zeus respectively, and they're going for a little partial buy, so 3 AKs.
It's interesting. Boltz goes to 0 and some stay on 3 grand.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting.
It's a very, very interesting buy. Peculiar, and it relies on pace. Getting the bomb down, getting into the B site, but Pimp is pushed up so far. He's in a great position. They're not even going to be ready for it. Jumps out, baits the shot, that puts him back down, but he goes immediately thereafter. They 1-2 punch it, they bait and switch. It works for 1, and massive damage on another. Boltz is on 15. And he's got to hold up, 16 rather, but he's got to hold up, and look at Elige. His timing now becomes perfect as Liquid is starting to roll, get the momentum. They walk in, missed shot from Pimp, but Elige has them lined up. They've spotted him, turned back, doesn't matter. He finds 1, and he's still trying to pursue him down on the low HP. It could be a 3rd quite easily as he taps in. It could be all of them as Elige. JDM, all right, steals that one away, but gets the position to make the play, and he gets a hat trick of frags for his efforts.
Well then, Immortals this time, it wasn't the full investment, but definitely costly for them. Going towards B this time, they were going for another contact play like I've described before. It seems like they're deciding at the beginning of the round, we're doing X. Let's go and do that. And then they go towards that position, and this time Liquid now starting to get into the groove. They're getting aggressive, confident, hitting their shots as well. Pimp baiting that first shot, and Hiko to spray them down as they try and chase him at that point. And this is getting a little bit frustrating, I'd say, for Immortals. It's going to be 9-0 here on the second half after a 13-2 half. It will be a very close game now. Henny on the AWP, but burning alive a little bit there. What was he? Towards the top of the middle of those boxes. JDM. The duel. It's tantalizing on paper, but so far been a little bit lackluster. He'll be towards the A site against the envelope of Henny.
Yeah, probably the buy in the last round. It leaves him a little bit light in utility here. It's mathematically correct in the fact that we said Boltz in particular bought to 0 and can still afford a gun based on the lost round bonus, but it's only a Galil instead. Phelps is going to try and work out from the underpass position. Elige waiting inside of the window, and it's Hiko that's going to boost Pimp up to catch off anyone inside the middle. Look, see? Do that. Look up. That's what you got to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. What a good companion Hiko is. Making sure he's carrying an instruction to his partner. It's Pimp. Now has decent vision toward connector and a boost toward the window. It's not going to be far enough away. It's Phelps to find the first, finally something to work with, and Zeus will Molotov that off so that they can't redress it. They can't push back in and try and catch them later. And as soon as that Molotov's gone, Vent not blown out. They're going to put themselves in a position where they can overtake the window. And now they've got mid-pressure to split onto A. But Pimp is still boosted, so watch for Zeus. Because he's in the exposed. Oh, Pimp shoots early. I would have thought he could have held that a little bit longer, waited for him to go in. Regardless, Nitro pulls back the bomb. And he's now going to get very careful about his position because Bolts gets in behind. JDM bails him out. Missed shot from Henny. Capitalization perhaps from Nitro as he tries to wrap back around, but it's Eco instead. And it's falling flat again for Immortals. 8 seconds, the round is over.
Is this another pause? I think we've already had 2 as well.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. If it's fair game for Liquid, it's fair game for Immortals. They're going to use a 3rd pause, and I'm starting to wonder because there's 4 allocated to a team, 2 per half.
Madness. Surely the admin's got to do something about this. You can't just allow this to happen.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe there's a stipulation in the rule set that we don't know because it is 4 per team per game, but 2 per half.
Yeah, there's definitely
and they're using 3.5, so I'm a little bit confused by that.
Yeah, the admin's got to step in at this point. You can't just allow this to go on. This dynamic can go on indefinitely.
The hard part is that they did allow it for Liquid, so fair game. Immortals
I
will use
understand
their 3rd.
that.
So
right?
this one's fair, but anything beyond needs to stop.
When does it end? And then they'll take a 4th, and then it's like, Lucas, oh, okay, yeah, we'll have it as well. It's just like, come on. Anyway, it's not a big deal. It's 30 seconds, whatever. Anyway, we'll get into this next one. So, Immortals, after getting the first pick for pretty much the first time this half, I think, they managed to get pushed by Nitro towards the A ramp, and then JDM backing him up with the AWP as well. Will be shut down. There's the non-sports guys on the screen right now.
Guys and the NRG guys. We see Peter. We see Kerrigan. We see Dennis, who looks looks to be trying to block for Kerrigan.
They're enjoying themselves. It's quite a big game overall for, I guess, Mousesports. I guess does it affect Mousesports in any way? I guess
it does, yes, because if they lose to Envious, they sit 2-2, which is where Immortals land.
Right, so they want Liquid to win this, basically.
They do
just
want Liquid to win this.
Yeah, I understand.
And Liquid are doing it, I have to say, pulling this back from 13-2 to 13-12. Immortals, if you press on the scoreboard, there's 2 rounds in total in this entire game that have gone T-side, and they were both accomplished by Liquid.
Bombs in 26 rounds, bomb's only gone down 3 times.
That is...
That's
not true. So we had a bomb, we had a timeout here, time there. We never had a detonation-based win. They might have gone down more than that because they could have won it on kills before it exploded. But we've had 3 rounds that were decided by defuses.
No, well,
and that's true because there's only 2 rounds. Yeah, so it would have been if the bomb blew up. You're right. I'm sorry. I had to think that through. That's exactly. 3 rounds plants total. That's insane.
Well,
that's got to be the lowest amount of bomb plants ever on Mirage. Peter, HLTV, you're good at stats. Look that one up for me.
He normally does it as well. That's the thing. He normally actually finds out.
That one would be a hard one. If he can get that one, I will bow down to my rightful overlord.
He is very good at that stuff, so shout out to him. Anyway, let's look at this. Immortals trying to do what they can. It is another buy from them. Deagle for Lucas and an AWP in the hands of Henny, trying to find that first round. This will tie things up at 13-13 after a 13-2 half. I can't believe I'm saying that. Nitro with the first kill as well. Pimp, he gets the second, and then Molotov out of position as well, trying to do what they can with his AWP. 4-on-3 as they make their way to the bomb site.
Phelps could be the playmaker in this. He got up connector and cut off 2. If he can hold off the people on the rotation at Catwalk, which he does by taking down Hiko, it could have been massive, but Hiko gets the bomb planter instead. This pulls Phelps back, leaves him exposed to JDM, and that's the shot as a result. JDM gets Phelps again trying to grab the bomb, and just like that, it's Liquid tying it 13-13.
11-0. Oh god, this is going from bad to worse for Immortals. They can't buy into this round either. They're probably... Oh, they all in?
That stat that you just said is incredible. 3 bomb plants throughout the entirety of this game. We're 27 rounds in now.
They've forced into this. What? Oh god, this could be their downfall. 2 goals, a UMP. It's not that desperate yet. They still can allow Liquid to take the lead, right? Okay, well, what have you got then? They've got 3 smokes to work with. I beg your pardon, it's 4. But they're going towards mid. Maybe it was more aggressive this time. They've been so slow and passive on their defaults. Just to stick together, smoke the connector, get in quickly, and just try and use these close-range weapons like the Glows and the SMGs to see what we can do. This is faster. It's more promising in terms of the confidence. Let's see if it actually leads to anything here.
Lucas in connector already. Elige is the one on the other side of the smoke down. Finally, they get an entrance.
There you go. And the crowd coming to life now. Oh, no.
Oh, wow, take that crowd, put them back to sleep because JDM gets 2 on the AWP. Phelps does get in deep toward the CT. That's going to pick up a kill. They can switch and hold this against Hiko. He's alone in the B site, and Phelps is approaching quickly. Hiko, you called him out saying it's been one of his more quiet tournaments. He's got to play this perfectly. And he goes to the corner. He's looking toward apartments. He doesn't know where Phelps is, but he's put himself in a position where he's not spotted. Taken up now, will go down. Bomb site grab for Immortals, and now the crowd can cheer about something because this is completely sustainable. This position suddenly works. Phelps, don't you dare peek that window, though. There's an AWP staring through it. JDM is looking hot as of late. 2 kills already in the round, and patience is going to be the virtue. He wants to try and hold this off and let them walk out and make mistakes. They smoke off toward bench. Phelps will watch the doorway. Nitro's going to walk directly into it. Shot successful for Phelps, but a gun shot back in for JDM. He gets a lineup. He's not dead yet. And that means Zeus has to hide. 100 HP for him, 33 for JDM, but it is an AWP. Keep that in mind. And Zeus is playing this smart. He wants to let the time expire. Ring around the rosy. JDM can't find him, makes the noise, and Zeus will close it. Finally, Immortals get around.
Oh, Zeus, he was on 4 for 18 before that frag, but that could be the most important one yet. 14-13, Immortals finally get on the board here in the second half. It's 11-1. Problem is, though, another 1v1 situation. I think he recovered an AWP. Maybe it's not as awful as maybe I could have pictured there, but still, Liquid certainly with a fighting chance, considering the buys. You can hear the crowd, maybe not so much on our stream, but we could feel them coming through the walls there as they managed to pick it up. Zeus doing some decent work with the positioning. And we go into round number 28. I can't believe this has gone the full distance, man. I really am flabbergasted at that, but still, we'll see how this one finishes as we go into the closing sectors here. A deagle for Lucas and Zeus in the goal.
Look at this position for JDM. Oh, good shoulder bait out from Phelps. Lines it, but JDM hits it. 14 HP and up close. He's got the shot. JDM. He's taken down in the end by Bolts, though. Sprayed back through. This is going to bring it to 4 versus 4. Henny's on 29 as they go back away from the B apartment to try and grab the bomb. Just the deagle for Lucas as well. That's a bit of a problem, especially where he's the one that potentially could be trying to split from Connector as he fades back into the burrows of the underpass, waiting for his team to get in position.
4 and 4 for now. Henny low HP as well. He'll be making his way back towards the A site. They're trying as many times, been shut down before, but the good news is JDM is down at this point. The AWP not going to be picked up as well. 4 and 4 to defend the A site. Just going to be Hiko, I believe, actually pinned towards B. He'll be happy to play that position by himself as we get to the 45-second mark. Presumably Henny going to try and open a pick before they come in at this point.
Henny on the AWP.
See, the CD's actually allowing them to get into the A site in the sense that they're towards CT spawn. They're not playing that position like Shadow or Palace. Can let them come in and try and retake together.
Lucas is already up the top of Connector. He's going to slip by Elige, though. Perfect position. Catches him out without even being aware. And he's got to find a shot on Nitro. They're trying to push him out. They know he's at the ticket booth. And Bolts does get Elige, which means they can start to peek further from Palace. There's the flush out and the kill. It works. Bolts is going to follow it up. Nitro goes down, and Bolts nearly sprays into Hiko, who goes to 22 HP, but does find the kill. It leaves us 2 versus 2, but finally Bomb Plant starting to stack up. Zeus needs to snap back. He can't find it. Wrong aim, wrong accuracy, and Hiko on 22 wins that duel. It's on to Henny. 1 versus 2, bomb planted, and they know where he is at A main. Misses the first shot toward Pimp. Flash goes out. Smoke as well. No, thinks better of smoking himself off of this, but a nade in. He's so low. 7 HP. Watched. No shot back into Pimp. Can't find it in return. Smoke's gonna go out this time, and Hiko's on it. 1 second left. Hiko's got it. It's 14-14.
Oh no, it's a disaster for Immortals at that point. You have to say in that 2v2, they had the advantage as well. The CT so far removed. Another pause? That's the 4th now.
That is 4.5. So
Tactical.
I'm not sure what happened.
This now. Can we actually do
Well, this is where I'm wondering if maybe the rule's been modified, because it used to be 2 per half, not 4 per game.
They used them in, well, okay, I see what you mean. So maybe they did, but they had the 13-2 first half, right? But
yeah, so I'm wondering if they're just letting them use all 4 in 1 half. That seems to be
that's
against
not the Valve,
what I
that's
thought
not the Valve
rules. Yeah, that's not what Valve wrote in their writing of the rule. So I'm wondering if this is just a matter of it was overlooked in the first or the third, I suppose, timeout for Liquid, and they're allowing it at this point. But usually, as far as we understood it, it's 2 per half. So there's now been 4 this half for Immortals.
That's definitely the rule, 100%. But yeah, like I said, this game a bit silly now. But you know what? Whatever. It's only 30-second pauses, and I don't really care. It's just like I'd like the rules to be followed. You know.
I know.
I like fair play.
You're a bad boy who likes to break the rules when it favors you.
I'm a maverick.
Otherwise, it's got to be fair.
I break the rules, but I get the job done.
So Henny missing some crucial shots that could have clutched it back, but you have to say Zeus also missing a low HP Hiko.
That wasn't even low HP. That was just, what was his positioning at that point? He's got a teammate backing him up with the AWP. He just runs into the open. He just felt like he was a little bit panicked at that point, wasn't sure what to do. He knew a player was in spawn, runs into the open, because he's going to die from multiple angles at that point, and then just gets taken down. And actually gives them an opportunity to win the game 13-2 to 14-14, and they've got an eco here as well. It's going to be match point.
And Phelps gets tagged that time from it.
This is going to be the most disheartening loss for them ever.
Yeah, look at the result of that last round, because we suddenly find ourselves back with pistols on the T side. They want to go aggressive towards B, and JDM's got position. JDM has 2. JDM has 3. JDM absolutely doing work, looking for a 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Can't find the other 2. But Pimp will follow it up as Henny comes back out, tries to grab bomb, forget it, round over. It's going to be Liquid on map point after being down, as you said, 13-2. And Immortals, Brazilians' home crowd, played so well for 2 halves, this morning in the third. They've played basically 3 out of 4 halves. And they'll fall short of making it through the groups.
This is one for the history books. After all the hype of the first half, thinking, okay, Immortals, horrible start for the tournament. 0-2, but could still come back to it if they win all their games today. They win the first one. It was close, but they did it. 13-2 in the first half. Okay, no chance of them throwing this away. Round by round it's happened, even after 4 pauses. This could be the A-Rush. This could be it. And they could find the first 2 kills and the third as well. Zeus, the player to try and save the day as his teammate comes from apartments.
And one it sandwiches Zeus. Bolt still trying to come out from Palace. He's got to watch jungle as he does so, and down he goes. Hiko's got him. He does Zeus find the second kill, but it's a 1 versus 3. He's got an ace to pull off if he wants to keep them alive in this. Quick little pop flash for a chance to peek out. Does spot one in the open, but it's over already. Hiko's got it. 16-14 in Liquid. They somehow pull this back, and I have to say I'm a bit surprised, but it was made a little bit easy for them. No to take away from the good CT half.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you can really take that into the playoffs, unfortunately for them. Yeah, great CT half, but so rigid, like Liquid were on the T side. Looked a bit lost in the opening defaults, were very passive, didn't really know how to commit, even when they found the opening kill as well. Executions weren't really on point. Players weren't really hitting shots after such a successful CD campaign. It's both teams running away with it, and that's got to be so gutting for Immortals after what could have been a glorious comeback into the playoffs. It was all riding on Mousesports versus MVS, but now that's it. They're out as well. Liquid dragged them down with them.
Yeah, that's impressive and depressing all at once. I mean, at least Hiko gets something going on this stage. At least Liquid win one
Both
before
those,
going home, but it's so depressing.
It's got to be like
Immortals.
a hollow victory for Liquid in that sense. Right now they've just watered the chances of Immortals, and they go out as well.
Well, with that said, we'll throw it back over to the experts who, guys, I mean, you got a lot to talk about. Very CT-sided game, I must say.
Slight understatement there from Sadakist. It's definitely a CT side, but indeed Henry is pulling on the correct thread. A rather bittersweet win for Liquid. You're unable to kind of celebrate the victory. They also send a home side home after a kind of harrowing loss. They throw a knockout blow and they get knocked out themselves. Yenko.
Every round matters, Alex. You can't get complacent even after a 13-2 first half. They have a 3-1 in the second pistol round. Everything is going their way, and they get too cocky. They challenge Pimp 1 by 1. Pimp gets the 1v3, and from that point on, just goes downhill.
Downhill? It's not even downhill. It's like off a cliff.
It's off a cliff.
Yeah,
exactly. Like the Mount Everest type of cliff.
That is.
Wow.
I think actually, often Mount Everest is seen as more of a cliff. I think it's more of kind of a mountain. But
it's the highest point on planet Earth, Alec. That's what I was referencing. But if you had basic knowledge of geography, maybe you would have caught on to that.
Doesn't it change? Isn't there another mountain that is sometimes higher depending on the time of year and stuff like that?
It was more of an English joke than an actual geography joke. But moving back into the actual analysis, that's painful.
Who's that? Is that you, me?
I don't know. It might be none of us. Either way, Chad. A loss like this, Immortals not going to be continuing here in home turf. I think maybe it's me. I'm just going to distance myself from you guys. Not making it to the playoffs at home turf in that fashion. There are very few losses that kind of can compare to this.
Yeah, it sucks, but there's 3 teams here who are happy. Optic,
absolutely.
Envy, and Mouse. You know, they're all guaranteed a spot now.
Thanks Liquid, basically.
Immortals and Liquid, yeah, basically.
Mouse probably happy the most because they don't need to beat Envious anymore to avoid the tiebreaker. They're definitely in the playoffs now. Basically, the Envious Mousesports matchup now is to determine who gets the first seed, goes straight to the playoffs. The loser gets, I'm not sure if second or the third seed, but they go to the quarterfinals either way.
Yeah, so basically Group A is locked up under lock and key thanks to Liquid and Immortals. Before we do continue to dissect this game, we have got an interview over on stage. I actually see a Liege standing by with Bio, so I'll let those guys take it away.
But you won, but you couldn't move forward to the playoffs. What do you think were the team mistakes during the championship?
Our mistakes? I think that we played really well in general for the beginning of the round, but we were losing a lot of late round situations. I think that we were up in numbers, at least for the times. By the time it was 10-0, I think that we were making the right strategies, but towards the end of the round, we're just making small mistakes, so people are getting killed, or we're not checking sight, and we're dying to the guy in sight. But I think that it's not as bad as it looked the rounds actually came pretty close on the T side. So I think we knew that, and coming into CT side, we knew that we could come back.
And what are the plans for now?
The plans for me, I want to meet all the fans here. I want to do a team signing, some churrasco. Yeah, that's my plans.
So you're enjoying being here in Brazil?
Yep.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next tournament. Alex, this result wasn't good for both teams.
Yeah, indeed. It's a tough one. Both teams, despite a victor being crowned and despite a comeback being had, neither team will continue in the tournament. Of course, that does mean that Group A is locked up. It was kind of the note we did end on, thanks to Beer and Elise there just saying he's going to go ahead and sample some of the local delicacies. There certainly is plenty of them. Brazilian barbecue being what he was talking about over on stage. I mean, probably should be a couple of closing words regarding this one and regarding, Liquid and the perhaps where they go next, whether it is just a question of, right, take some time, get some leadership, and get some structure back into your roster, because that was a very recent change, right? You can't suddenly bounce back from a loss of a coach overnight, right, Janko?
Definitely, and seeing as how their coach was the incremental part of the team, devising strategies in timeouts, giving them, pointers as to what they should do. I partially agree with Elise. They did get to the bomb site, but it always felt like they were on the back foot, that Immortals knew which bomb site it was going to be. They had enough time to rotate, and they would always have the advantage coming into the duels on the actual bomb site. So all those things considered, it seems like they still have the same playbook, but they just don't know when to call, what's the best moment to call a certain strat.
Now, actually, we have a great opportunity here to actually bring up that 1v3 you referenced earlier, so you can explain exactly just how foolish this was. This was the beginning of the end for Immortals, a 1 versus 3 from none other than PIMP.
I mean, this is, for them, the thought process for Immortals here is that, okay, we know where he is, there's 3 of us, 2 of the players are low, let's just all challenge at the same time. He gets 1 kill, but he will get immediately traded. But in my opinion, why even take that risk? You have the bomb, you can plat for the connector, you can establish crossfires, because in this type of a scenario, yes, you peek together, but you're in the same line. He only needs 1 bullet on 2 players and they're dead. It's exactly what happened, unfortunately, for Immortals. I still think that wasn't the optimal play in that situation.
Both teams, for me, really didn't want to get the bomb down. We saw few plants in the whole.
Was it 4, I think, at the end of that one?
There wasn't many.
No.
It was ridiculous. A lot of the times as well, they were leaving it so late in the rounds, they didn't even have an option to get the bomb down. It was just left like, okay, well, all my teammates died, the bomb's down, there's 10 seconds left, I have to save. And both teams were very similar in the way that they addressed their T-halves. I thought it was just so many defaults. What I would have liked to see from Immortals was they had so many rounds to work with. You can basically just start throwing the kitchen sink at them, do some really fast, innovative strategies, try and catch them off guard. Once you let it build up to a point where their economy is so strong, just defaulting and grinding back into it, they're going to have all the confidence. They saw so many different aggressive plays, Elise dropping down into the underpass, coming up behind them on flanks and stuff. They could do whatever they wanted on their CT half.
I think the problem is you see it in this game, you saw it a little bit in the Mousesports Immortals game, that these teams kind of go more for set executes, smoke executes toward either A or B bomb site, some set fakes. When you look at the best teams in the world of Mirage, teams like SK, like VP, like Navi, Dignitas, why not as well. Even saw it a little bit from FaZe yesterday. They go for a lot of defaults into mid control, into splitting a bomb site 3-way or 2-way, because that enables you get a lot of control, you get a lot of information, you limit the positions where the CTs can play from, and also by spreading around the map, you are not in the risk of being flanked and your opponents gaining information on you and rotating towards the correct bomb site. So I think that's the reason that those teams understand what are the faults, the weaknesses of going for a bunch of set executes, and maybe something that these other teams can also learn from. Okay, so it's, basically you have to have more to your playbook than just pulling out execute after execute. Just final thoughts from you, Chad.
I was just going to say, Mirage is a map where everybody knows the same executes. There's nothing new. You can't come up with any new gimmicks that are going to catch people off guard. So exactly what Janko says. I think on the T side, you need to be able to set a certain pace, use your defaults to fake and go from there. And we didn't see that from either team, unfortunately.
All right, well, that is it. Immortals and Liquid will not continue here in the ESL Pro League Finals. Group A is as good as locked in. Instead, they'll continue to play for seeding, of course. The top player, or rather, the top team will secure themselves that spot in the playoffs and, of course, in those semi-finals. For now, though, we are going to go ahead and take a break. When we return, it's NRG's turn to take the stage alongside FaZe. We're going to be intrigued to see if NRG can make FaZe sweat as much as they did manage to make others over yesterday in the ESL studios. Right, we're going to take a break. When we do come back, it's going to be another game here in this wonderful arena.
They train.
It's always been about fighting your fears.
They travel.
The thing that I strive for the most is to be able to capture the moment.
They explore.
Constantly trying to push myself and then try to see how far can I go.
To see the world in a different way.
I'm not supposed to go here, but what if I go there anyway? What's gonna happen?
It's interesting to kind of just watch the world go by at your feet.
It's such a liberating experience.
Urbex, an exclusive 8-part series, only on Red Bull TV.
I'm back! Now that Kinguin has partnered with ESL Pro League, you have even more of a reason to buy the skins you need. No one has a bigger selection of CSGO products. Buy CSGO cases from your favorite players and events, including the ESL Pro League case. Buy and sell skins on skins.kinguin.net. Check it now!
This is the Score Esports, the ultimate esports experience. The Score Esports is your home for everything CSGO, delivering the biggest stories and all the scores, stats, and updates you care about in real time. The Score Esports takes you inside the ropes with exclusive video interviews, features,
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Fourth place team FaZe made their way through the Pro League online season with wins against the likes of G2 and Navi, finishing with an 18-8 record. With new starting member Kerrigan, FaZe has addressed their lineup problems and looks to claim the top spot in Sao Paulo.
Simple to go walkabouts again. He spots up Guardian. Now he knows where he is. Rain, you beast!
FaZe rocked Dignitas just yesterday, and now they have a chance to continue the success, the streak, and get even closer to that $750,000 prize. But it is still group stages, and things are getting very, very close in Group B.
Last time he did that, he snorted.
Oh, did I just itch on camera again? I am getting over this illness. The Brazilian sun has done wonders for it. I don't think I've coughed on air yet. That's a big change from Russia.
Cough buttons also help.
Oh god, yeah, we do have those now. I almost forgot it's a luxury. Either way, Janko, YNK Punovic, and Chad Birch are residing to discuss this one. It is FaZe versus NRG, gents. And Chad, you seem reluctant to focus too much on the NRG camp, given that they haven't.
Why is that, Chad?
I think FaZe is the more interesting team to talk about.
Why?
That's all. The addition of Kerrigan, the fact that if they get someone from Iceland to be like an analyst or something, they have members from all of the Nordic nations.
But
I think that's really interesting to the analysis.
Okay, so it's more that FaZe is more interesting as opposed to NRG is not interesting.
Well, they had a bit of trouble yesterday. A couple of close matches. That Cache game where the comeback against NIP, they weren't happy with that.
16-14.
They weren't happy with that, to say the least. There was a couple of tweets that went out that really conveyed that, as well as rage from directly behind us while we're on the desk. I think we're looking at to be in NA and play in the league and come 5th is a lot different to play in Europe and come 4th. I think FaZe came 4th, right? If I'm doing it right. So I think FaZe are on a higher caliber team than NRG, and I think the addition of Kerrigan makes this unit a lot more interesting going forward as a potential challenger for a top 10 spot. You monster.
That's where I was going to kind of start talking and probing with Janko. Do love to do that. It's of course regarding FaZe and their trajectory. We're already talking about them having the right pieces, the correct ingredients now to find success, and he's already hinted at where I'm taking this. Top 10 team is what Chad was suggesting, but I mean, how high can they rise?
I mean, they've been flatlining for a long time, Alex.
Yeah,
now they started to show some heartbeats, so to speak. But for FaZe, it's definitely a matter of giving them more time with Kerrigan to truly implement his ideas, to iron out the map pool, which maps do they actually want to play now, what will be their strongest maps. I think on paper, definitely an upgrade, not because of skill or individual play style, but simply because that team needed a leader. It was a year, the last time they made the playoffs of a tournament was Cluj-Napoca, which was, I think, more than a year ago at this point, somewhere around that time. So ever since they joined FaZe, under FaZe, they've never made the playoffs of a LAN tournament until E-League last weekend.
Time truly does fly. I can't believe Cluj was over a year ago. Really? God, I'm getting old. I'm getting old and wrinkly.
Yeah, okay, mate.
All right, sorry, Grandad on the end there. Chad, let's continue with this discussion after we do actually hear what FaZe had to say when we spoke to them ahead of this game.
Before Kerrigan joined, we had a lack of communication and team play. But with Kerrigan joining the team, I see great potential, and we're already evolving as a team just by having him for a couple of hours with us. We only had a couple of days before we went to E-League with Kerrigan, so we didn't really get to change that much, but he's doing most of the in-game leading like in the middle of a round, so like mid-round calling, so we're kind of adapting to what he wants to do. We swapped Kiyoshima with Kerrigan because we've been trying 5 aimers for over a year now, and we haven't passed groups in over a year almost, so something had to change for the team to evolve and become better.
Don't know why we bothered doing that entire segment, because Rain just covered it in a much more concise and articulate manner. That is it. 60 seconds with him, and he does already say that even a couple of hours into working with Kerrigan, they already felt improvement. That is testament to how much they needed this shift.
It's because Chad didn't want to talk about NRG.
Yeah, we just did. That's true. All right, yeah, I'm going to force you to now, Chad. You're going to have to talk a little bit about the opponents to FaZe, because we know the story regarding them looking good at this point in time. NRG, we have to talk about the fact that they nearly beat NIP on cash. Sorry, let me translate for you. Cash.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure where you were going with that one.
They nearly picked that win up to the point where NIP forged almost a 10-round comeback. Like, this is where you can't help but say, like, if they had a little bit more resilience and a little bit of an iron fist, they could very well have taken NIP on their best map.
Yeah, I think a unique thing with what we saw in yesterday's game was both teams were willing to play retake on that map, and it didn't really hurt either team because of how close it was. Just in the end, the NIP, they were more, I guess, structured in their retakes, and they were able to get the win in the end. The thing with NRG that I think is interesting is there's no superstar. Like, it's Tabson is the one who stands out as the main fragger, but in the past he hasn't been like a guy, you know, who's been on anyone's radar as an awesome player. But he's just solid and he's putting up consistent numbers. Yesterday we did see Legia and even God B, they were getting quite a few frags. It was Peter and Fugly who was still not struggling, but if they contributed maybe a little bit more, it might have been the victory that they needed. But at the same time, it was team play that was good for them yesterday. So if they can bring that into today, it's going to very heavily depend on the map, I think.
Do you not think it also very heavily does depend on Mr. Tabson? Not only was he so great online, but also it does seem like he has been overwhelmingly consistent. Like, genuinely, we rarely see players who have this consistent level at the top of his scoreboard. I mean, as of course for his team, proportionally.
Probably his breakout performance was when he was standing in for NRG at the Counterpit tournament. It's when they got the best of 3 win over Envious, which is probably their best result to date. I'm still looking at someone else to help him to contribute to the team. I think that's what's going to give them, the extra step to manage to get a win here, because right now, they're similar to a flip side, right? They want to be a team that relies on team play, but their team play is not strong enough so that they can win games against this type of opposition just through that.
I think an interesting map right now where you could see the players step up who we need is Dust 2. And you could see Peter being the AWP that NRG they so desperately require.
I mean, he did tell me yesterday that they are convinced that is their best map by far, and that is where they believe they can compete with the world's best. Intrigued to see if it does slip through the map veto, though, because that's what it's going to be taking into account now. Best of 1 still. NRG so close to surprising, so close to making an impact, but now they have an opportunity to do exactly what Liquid did, which is remind everyone that they are still here and they can still compete at one of the highest levels. So good to pick up the spot in North American Pro League. Of course, not necessarily the most likely of candidates to do so, but they have already proven that they can test some of the European talents. We'll see if FaZe do prove too much for them, but let's bring those vetoes up and let's see how this one does go down. Dust 2 seems to be your bet. Yanko, does that seem like something FaZe would be willing to play?
I think so. It could be that. It might be also, I wanted to say perhaps Cash, but they're probably willing to play Overpass still, even after that performance against SK. That was a bit of a, anomaly. SK just running amok on that CT side. So
16-2 for you guys at home. Sorry to interrupt.
So I mean, we could just bring the second part of the vetoes as well.
What have we got here? Drum roll, please.
Could be Mirage.
It could be Mirage.
Yeah.
Mirage or Dust 2 seem to be the likely candidates. Overpass is still possible.
I think it's what NRG decides to veto out of the two, right? Because I think FaZe towards the end will veto Nuke. One of the teams has to veto Nuke. I don't think that's a map that either team wants to play. They just didn't want to veto it in the first phase, so that a game of chicken, maybe our opponents are going to veto it, so why should we waste a ban on that map? Well, we still wait for the second
you can do it.
part of the veto to be shown.
I'll clap them in. Ready?
Hey.
That was all me.
That's it.
Totally me. Does too.
I'm pretty good with the map picks.
You are. You're good. It's almost like you are an ex-professional player.
No, normally what I do is I ask Yanko what he thinks before the segment. He tells me, and then I just say it on air and steal his thunder.
Or the players.
Yeah.
No, this time, legitimate guess.
Okay. An educated guess.
It's an educated guess.
Educated guess. Because, I mean, so we should return to the points Chad made, right? PTR is a win condition in himself. We know that he has some degree of a ceiling, right? We have seen good performances from him. I'm not sure how many we've seen of them offline, though. It does seem like sometimes pressure and confidence can be incremental factors in his performance.
I mean, they didn't attend that many LAN tournaments. You can't really...
I mean, as a player.
As a player, yes, here and there was... I mean, he was one of the breakout players in that CLG team tournament. It was against NBS or LDLC on Dust 2 where they got the win, and that was Peter having an amazing performance with the AWP. But you know, yesterday I don't want to say that he's been missing, but that's the type he needs to have a better performance than yesterday against a team like NIP for him to really solidify himself as one of the best oppers in NA. He himself has been voicing it repeatedly, but that's yet to be shown on the server, in my opinion.
That spot we're talking about, the top op in NA, is extremely open right now. We haven't seen too many fantastic things from the normal suspects of Skadoodle and JDM. So if Peter, you know, if these guys can attend a few more events and start putting up decent performances, it's open to anybody.
Kusta, of course, Jason's personal hero.
Overhyped, of course.
Yeah, big fan. Of course. I mean, Kusta. Who else is on that potential NA AWP list? Kusta, PTR. Who I'm trying to think who's rocking it for Self and Nifty.
I don't know who plays for United.
A2Z, he does all the roles.
He's the best player, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where that meme came from. I just see tweets. Yeah, I'm not part of the North American clique, but I'm sure we'll have it explained to us. In fact, we can have it explained to us by Days. He's at Oakland. That'll be fun. Get to chat to him. He talks about video games sometimes and shouts about them sometimes as well. All right, it does seem like we are resolving a quick couple of issues on stage, so we can continue to expand this just a little further. Yeah. Well, you were sitting there.
You were losing your touch, Alex. So
you were wondering what was going on.
I was wondering if everything's fine.
I was just trying to work out how long we had left. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we do have a while, so we can.
Can I go back to FaZe?
Return to your favorite team.
Thank you. So the very interesting thing about FaZe is I think that Alu as an AWPer, you know, we saw him in NIP and then he had to go back to Easy for Ents, unfortunately, which is I wonder why he went back to that team.
Because he's their finish. And
yeah, I know, but couldn't he have just stayed in limbo and got picked up anyway?
I think he genuinely believed he could improve the Finnish scene, and he wanted to see how far that could go.
I think there's always that sense of wanting to succeed with your own country. I know Nico, for example, he always would like at some point, probably towards the end of his career at this point, to try and get into a team with people from either, you know, Serbia, from the region, anyhow, and try to achieve some success with them, because that does have a special feeling. You know, this way you feel a bit of like a mercenary.
Yeah. Did you guys see the interview that Carrigan did with HeteroTV.org?
I mean, I saw the title.
Yeah, well, that's what you needed to see.
Yeah.
He gets the call the way he wants to. And if that doesn't elaborate on what was going on in Australis, I don't know what does. If you, as an in-game leader, you don't have the freedom or the confidence in your teammates to make the decisions that you want to, you may as well not be calling. You may as well let someone else do it.
I think probably the best example about those types of issues that Astralis was having, this was when they were TSM at the IEM San Jose. They're in the grand finals against Na'Vi, and they are not feeling confident on Train. They don't want to play Train against Na'Vi, so they decide to veto it first phase and leave in Cobble, the map which they always banned, that they never played, because some players were uncomfortable with Train and said, if you pick Train, I will rush Ivy with a P90.
Well, that's a legit story.
That was a legit story. So they live in Cobble, absolutely get smashed on Cobble, something like 16-4, 16-6. So you can't even have control over the map veto, let alone over, you know, players doing on the server what you want from them.
I think now, especially with coaches being so prevalent and teams even having analysts as well, I think you need to have a leadership group, and the players just do as they're told, right? So you have the in-game leader, he deals with the coach and the analyst, and they make a plan. And then even if the in-game leader isn't if he's part of like the little sit-down in front of the TV screen and the analyst is up there pointing out issues and the coach is there and helping, I think that's better than it coming from the in-game leader all the time, because people start to, once you get in a place where you lose a lot of tournaments like Australis were doing, and in heartbreaking fashion, you start to lose faith in the in-game leader. If it can come from the coaching staff and the analyst and the in-game leader as a unit, you can put the blame somewhere else, and people aren't going to resent the in-game leaders, you know, decision making.
Sometimes people think that an in-game leader, you know, wanting to change tactics or forcing players to play in a certain style is him shifting blame from himself or maybe his, you know, poor individual performances. But that's why it's extremely important for all the team to be on the same page regarding the game. You can't have 3 players or even 4 players thinking, okay, the game should be played like this, and then you have one guy who's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Let's play a different style. That's just never going to work. You need to be cohesive in that sense.
Yeah, a cohesive unit, and you know what? It does seem like some members of NRG are on the same page as well. Why, I hear you ask? Well, we spoke to them earlier before this game. We can go ahead and see what they had to say coming into the Pro League finals.
I think our mix in our team between European and NA players are really good because obviously our roles are strict and everyone knows what to do, and also it brings kind of two cultures. The NA culture is more based on aiming, and I think the European culture is more based on communication. These kind of together brings kind of a question mark into the tournament, and I hope it will work out for us. I think our biggest weakness from our region is that we are lacking experience. The European teams have more experience in going in this kind of events. Our kind of goal is to upset a lot of teams. Hope that they didn't prepare enough for us because we are kind of the underdog and we have nothing to lose and we'll play without fear.
Getting to hear from Gob B there, the voice, the in-game leader, something that we've been talking about an awful lot here on this desk between FaZe and NRG, and of course between Chad Birchall and YNK. I'd like to continue this discussion, but kind of throw Gob B into it. He's such a recognizable house name to anyone that has followed CS for an extended period of time, and it's so. I'd like to make sure that we can actually highlight the history surrounding this name. He is not, just a European import into North America. There's so much more. There's a plethora of history behind the Gob B name, Yanko.
Definitely so. One of the iconic in-game leaders of 1.6 because of his tenure. He spent, I think, most of his, if not all of his career in mouse sports. And okay, that team was never, the best in the world for an extended period of time, but they had a couple of good tournaments in their time. They won an IEM one season, which was one of the majors, so to speak, in the 1.6 era. And the problem is that 1.6 was much more the tactics based. There was much more structure in that game than there is in CSGO. CSGO, you can do a lot more things individually. There's a lot more pressure on individual players to perform. So that's where he was struggling to find his, to hit his stride, so to speak. He was basically individually a step lower than the rest of his teammates, but because they understood at some point that they really need someone to lead the team, he was brought back in from retirement pretty much.
Yeah, no, he when he was in mouse sports before with the CSGO version,
yes.
I don't know if he was like the problem in that team. It just seemed like there was quite a few players that that was when Nico was on the bench and stuff, and then they brought him back in because they were happy to start speaking English again and all that kind of stuff. It was just it was a weird thing. It was that team. They weren't bad, they weren't. They wanted the upgrade and. Made sense, I guess.
The problem was, according to them, the problem was that he wasn't willing to put in enough hours personally into his own game to try and improve his own game, and that they gave him repeated chances to do that. In the end, they decided to just replace him because they had a plan for a coach to be the in-game leader, but unfortunately that coach decided to get a real-life job, so then they were stuck with no one.
I see. Inside info with YNK. But Gob B here, his move to North America was, to some people, a bit of a surprise, feeling like, with time he would have been snatched up by a European roster and be continuing his battles over there.
I think a lot of people wanted him to coach. I know we approached him in Renegade to see if he wanted to coach. He just said, nah, not really what I'm after. I think the same thing probably happened with Sean Gares. There's quite a few of these guys who... Existence, yeah. They got dropped and everybody wanted to pick him up as a coach, and they just want to continue playing. So I don't know if that was a good decision by them, but they're still doing something they love.
I would have probably expected more from Gob B and his move to NA for his team to be more successful at this point, because they did have a lot of time. But then again, on the other hand, they have been going through a couple of roster changes. They had Justin and Silent at the beginning of that team, and slowly I think now they're probably happy with how the roster is looking like, but it's still a long ways to go before they can be a true international contender.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done, there's no doubt about it, but some of the individuals have already proven that they have got some very scary skill ceilings. Tabson we listed before, we've even seen PTR hit shots, and we talked actually a little bit yesterday about Fugly and his kind of intriguing, kind of patchy history where he did get, again, it does not all feel like the rejects, but teams have kind of chewed them up and spat them back out to end up on NRG, haven't they, Chad? Fugly's story's quite similar.
Well, once again, like when Fugly was in CLG and then he got dropped, that was one that I didn't really make sense to me. I didn't see him as the weak link of that team. I didn't see him as the one who needed to go. And that was from practicing against them and competing against them. He seems like from my place, and my team also agreed at the time that he was consistent and he was a good role player at what he did. Like maybe he just put up good performances against us and we're a bit blindsided by that. But for him to be in this roster, he's not like once again, it's like he's a support player. He's not really a star. He's not been put into a role where he can thrive. He's just does what he's told and does it to the best of his ability.
Just want to remind you guys as well that alongside what is about to go down on stage, there is another one which you're probably desperately checking your scores on over on a smartphone device of some description. But you can, of course, we're going to be checking it out in just a moment. It's Envy Mouse is going to be going on. I believe that's what I've been told.
Has the game started or no?
I don't have internet.
If someone can give us the info.
6-5 in favour of Mouse Sports, I believe.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. I summoned that just Auf geht's. Did you just do some German there?
Yeah, let's go.
There you go, catering to the European crowd. But it is 6-5, and we'll be checking in on that.
Like we'll physically be checking in on that?
No, we're just going to keep keeping an eye on the score.
I mean, the thing, I'd like to talk a bit more about FaZe and individuals on that team, because I truly do feel like Rain is a world-class player.
Yeah.
I mean, there were rumors of Rain possibly going to Fnatic in that Swedish shuffle, and definitely would be a great fit for that team. It always, somehow you feel sorry for him, because I do feel he's that caliber of a player that does deserve to play, the big games on stage, to be in the final stages of the tournament. I just feel he's a very well-rounded player, really solid, someone who will get the job for you, get the job done for you, round in and round out.
This is the thing though with all these players like Jake and Rain and AZ. Like Rain more so, his clutches and stuff in high pressure situations are insane. Some of the best we've ever seen in CSGO. However, with like AZ, when he was in Dig and then he got picked up and stuff, and it was like, this guy's a star. He is a star player. He is someone who's going to change this team or be such a huge instrumental part of it. And then he kind of like died off and just not became mediocre, but maybe because there are so many stars, nobody's thrust into being that one that everybody focuses on or gives an opportunity to do what they want to. They're kind of sharing the star responsibility over the whole team, or at least they were, and now they have Carrigan. Maybe he can put people in more positions where they can thrive, and I think that's obviously a good thing. But people look at stats and they go, oh, this guy had a really good game here, or this guy had a bad game here. And when you look at certain teams who have one or two players who are consistently at the top, the problem with that is they're the ones who probably get all the roles and jobs they want to. And when you look at stats and go, oh, these guys are good players, they might not be doing that much better than, say, the third guy on the scoreboard. But the third guy on the scoreboard has made sacrifices in the way he wants to play to allow these guys to have all the freedom or all the options they want. And that's why people, when they look at stats, they need to really think about it.
Yeah, and I mean, it is easy to get blinded by stats. I know that we have previously on the desk have done so, and then actually, upon review, you sit there and go, well, actually, you look at his ADR, sometimes you don't even get to see that. There was damage being done, just not necessarily translating into kills.
Perhaps one of the best examples is the tournament in Moscow. We all were at the desk thinking that, yeah, Magic for sure is going to get the MVP award, but it was Config, and we were questioning that. But then when Peter actually published the article over at hltv.org, when you read through it and put some thought into it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe subjective opinion, looking at the games, remembering some highlight rounds, but if you just look at them plainly, they are deceptive. But if you compare them with actual game being played, then you can get some relevant information from them.
And some real answers. In fact, maybe NRG and FaZe can give us an answer about who is going to be winning Dust 2 after a very short break. NRG say this is their very best map. They think they can compete with the best, and the best is just across the stage from them. FaZe, new look FaZe with Carrigan, are going to try and pick up their second win after the break.